With Season 20 of Lightfall coming to an end in the next few weeks, Season 21 is upon us, and with that, a few rumors have been spread around about the Starfire protocol being nerfed for the Warlocks. If we can all just take a moment, put some Fs in the comments for our Warlock mains and our Starfire builds. This is a sad day, but we don't know yet. This is a rumor. There's a few leaks. We don't know if it's true. It could be, but you never know. You watch, they'll probably drop a pretty fire Starfire protocol ornament in the Eververse store next season, and you know I'll be buying it anyway. But do not fear, Warlocks. We are still the superior class, and there is plenty of other builds out there that we can use throughout PvE activities. So today, I'm going to be going over the 3 best alternatives to the Starfire Protocol Warlock build. 1 for Solar, 1 for Void, and 1 for Strand. So stick around to the end. You can add all 3 of these setups into your loadouts, label them, color them, whatever you want to do, and hold on to these for next season when the inevitable Starfire nerf is coming. Or better yet, hell, use them now. It's a really fun alternative, and they are super strong. If you do enjoy this content, feel free to drop a like and a subscribe, and let me know in the comments which your favorite Warlock build is, and I'll be sure to give it a go. Coming up first, we have the all-famous Sunbracer build for the Solar subclass. This one has been pretty popular among Warlocks recently, and it is seriously a build that you need in your loadouts. It is super strong for ad clear, very good for endgame activities, and even really good damage against bosses in an emergency situation. This build is created around the Warlock exotic, the Sunbracers, in the arms category. Now, as it states on the exotic, increases the duration of solar grenades. Solar melee kills grant unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time. So the way this works is you want to get a solar powered melee kill, proccing the exotic perk, granting infinite solar grenades for a certain period of time. And that's basically it. That's the whole build. However, there is a few vital things you need to have in your loadout to make this build even better. Those being the aspects. You want to make sure you have Touch of Flame on and Heat Rises. Touch of Flame will basically make all of your solar grenades last longer and also emit solar blobs for increased damage, while Heat Rises, once activated, will grant you airborne effectiveness, the ability to hover in the air, and the ability to activate Restoration through Phoenix Dive, granting you health over time and keeping you topped up. So the rotation is pretty simple. Before you enter combat, you want to consume your grenade to activate Heat Rises, get close to an enemy, hit them and kill them with your powered melee attack, proccing the exotic perk, and then send out as many solar grenades as you can while hovering in the air, and then activating Phoenix Dive on enemies to scorch them and grant restoration to yourself to heal you. Jump back up in the air, throw some more grenades. By this time, the exotic perk has probably run out, so you then want to get another melee kill, which you will have back through getting grenade kills, and then rinse and repeat the process again. Consume another grenade, fly in the air, and throw out as many grenades as you can. The only downside to this build is if you miss a melee, it's going to take a while to get that charged melee back, so make sure you do not miss a melee. So going over the Sunbracer build, these are the mods you're going to want to use. These are ones that I have found work the best with this build. Triple momentum transfer on the gauntlets. Make sure that when you're spamming out those solar grenades, by the end of that spam, you're going to have that melee back instantly. Therefore, you can continually repeat the process of melee and then spam nades. Pause the video, take a quick screenshot. These are what you're going to want to use. For the subclass, I'm running Phoenix Dive to proc Restoration and Scorch targets, Incinerator Snap to damage the enemies and proc that Sunbracer exotic. Obviously, solar grenades, Touch of Flame, Heat Rises. I'm running Ember of Torches so that when you do melee someone, you get Radiant, meaning more damage. Ember of Resolve, so when I do get kills with those solar grenades, which I will be, they also heal me. It says that they cure me. Ember of Benevolence, so when I apply that Restoration or Radiant on myself, it then increases grenade melee and class ability cooldowns for a short duration. And Ember of Singeing, so when I scorch targets through my Phoenix Dive, it's going to then recharge that Phoenix Dive much faster. The super is completely up to you. I use Well of Radiance, but you can use Daybreak, completely optional here. And for the stats, you want to make sure you try and get 10 resilience. So it's a fairly simple and effective build for the Warlock, but let's move on to my favorite, the Void build. This Void build is super powerful in all activities, and this one works around the Controverse Hold exotic gauntlets for the Warlock, and as it states, it resists incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade. Charge Void Grenades, return grenade energy on hit. Now, this is incredible. So the way this works is you want to overcharge your grenade by holding whatever your grenade ability is, preferably the Vortex Grenade. I feel as though it does the most damage, and then you throw that out for increased damage and duration. Now, when you throw this grenade out, you want to be trying to hit as many enemies as possible, so look for a group of enemies and throw it right in the middle of them. The best thing about the Vortex Grenade is it actually pulls the enemies in, and the more enemies you hit, the more grenade energy you're going to get back. So if you can hit 3 or 4 enemies, you're basically guaranteed your grenade charge fully back, therefore being able to throw another one. As you can see from this gameplay, it's flawless. It's just spamming charge grenades out there, throwing a melee in there as well, and popping rifts down around whenever I want. On top of this, I'm in a heist battleground outside of the sort of safe area where you don't take damage, but because I have Devour active all the time, I'm always topped up killing enemies with void abilities, so my health regen is always full. So the rotation for this build is fairly simple. You want to overcharge your grenade and then throw it out, aiming for at least 3 or 4 enemies. If you can't hit 3 or 4, it's fine. Just hit as many enemies as you can. That is going to refund a really good amount of grenade energy back. However, with some mods that I will show you in a second, there's plenty of ways that you're going to get your grenade energy back super quick. So if you don't get it back straight away, you can throw out a melee and kill some enemies, or you can use a class ability, kill some enemies, pick up orbs of power. Anything you do is going to recharge your grenade energy, so you're going to get that back super quick. The best thing about this build as well is when you get all these ability kills, it's going to charge your super, meaning you're going to get the Nova Bomb super quick all the time. For the Void build, we're working with controversial holds. These are the mods that I'm using. Make sure you take a quick screenshot of these. The mods don't really matter. This whole build works around the controversial holds and its perks. So the mods are completely up to you. I like to just use damage resistance and double grenade kickstart, so that makes sure that if I do run out of grenade, I'm going to get that back as soon as possible. Obviously, ashes to assets, so that when I do get heaps of grenade kills, I'm going to get my super much faster. So take a quick screenshot there, the mods right there. 10 out of 10 resilience is your #1 priority, and get that discipline up as high as you possibly can. For the subclass, Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Pocket Singularity, and Vortex Grenade. Obviously, the aspects, Chaos Accelerant, so that we can overcharge that Vortex Grenade and feed the Void, so that when we get a kill with a Void ability, it's going to activate Devour, and then every kill after Devour is activated, it's going to keep regenerating Devour and keep that topped up. For the fragments, Echo of Expulsion. Whenever we kill anything with a Void ability, it's going to explode, doing more damage. Echo of Instability. This isn't really needed this season, but it will be needed next season. Defeating a target with a grenade grants volatile rounds to the Void weapons, because next season we're not going to have volatile flow, so that we're not going to be able to get volatile rounds from picking up orbs of power. So next season, we're going to need Echo of Instability. And finally, Echo of Leeching. So whenever we kill anything with a melee final blow, it starts health regeneration for me and my nearby allies. So between Devour and getting melee kills, we're going to be full health and topped up all the time. So between endless ability spam, Devour always being active, volatile rounds, and supers way faster than you should really be getting them, this build is flawless and really, really fun. Void Warlocks have been sort of neglected for quite a while now. Everyone's just using Solar. However, I really think this build can bring back the Void Warlocks back into PvE activities next season. But that sums up the Void loadout. Let's head over onto the final, the Strand loadout. And finally, we have the most overpowered Warlock loadout to this day, and that is the Infinite Suspend, Osteostriga, Spam, Necrotic Grips, whatever you want to call it. Now from this gameplay, I am in a Legend Battleground by myself, and you can just see simply how good and broken this build really is. There's a few close calls. I was playing a bit reckless, but you know, with the power of Woven Mail and some healing rifts, it's really not a problem. So this whole build works around you consuming your Shackle Grenade, granting you a 15-second buff called Weaver's Trance. Now what Weaver's Trance does is whenever you deal damage to an enemy with Weaver's Trance active, it's going to suspend that enemy. Now this works even better with the Osteostriga, because what the Osteostriga does is it spreads a poison area of effect once you deal enough damage with it, and yes, this poison effect that spreads will also suspend more enemies. On top of this, we want to also be using the exotic Necrotic Grip, so that whenever we throw out those Threaded Needle melee ability, this will also spread more poison damage, therefore suspending more enemies. Now I'm not going to get into fully detail on this build, every single aspect of it, because as a Warlock main, I'm sure you probably have already seen this build. This build has been around since day 1 of Lightfall. It's completely broken, but I just wanted to show you guys the advantages of this and put it into a video so that you know it is very viable next season. Now like I said, this is a solo legendary heist battleground, so I'm by myself, and you can just see this build absolutely putting in work. This is definitely my favorite Strand build for the Warlock. Now I'm going to go over the mods here for you. For the Strand build, these are the mods I'm using, paired with the Necrotic Grip. These are fairly simple. I like to use Heavy Ammo Finder and Double Heavy Ammo Scout, purely because this build revolves around the Osteostriga, and as it states, Heavy Ammo Finders work better with exotic primary weapons, so using a Osteostriga will help you find a lot of heavy ammo. This will help you and your fire team members. This is a must on the helmet. All the others, take a quick screenshot and copy them over. For the subclass, I like to use Healing Rift so that I can get extra healing, Burst Glide, Arcane Needles, and Shackle Grenade. You never want to throw the Shackle Grenade, you always want to consume it, therefore giving you Weaver's Trance. For the aspects, I like to use Weaver's Call and Mind Spun Invocation. Fragments, Thread of Continuity, so when I do suspend an enemy, it will last longer. Thread of Generation, dealing damage, grants grenade energy. This is your bread and butter of this build, so that when you're doing total damage with the Osteostrigger, heaps of poison, it's going to slowly recharge that grenade back, so that when that Weaver's Trance ends, you're going to have your grenade back before it even ends, meaning a endless cycle of Weaver's Trance. Thread of Warding, because we're going to be generating orbs, it's super easy. When we pick up these orbs of power, it's going to give us Woven Mail, making us very damage resistant. Thread of Evolution, threadlings travel faster and deal additional damage. This is also really good for when we put down our Rift. With the super, obviously we're going to be running Needle Storm. Again, I recommend 10 Resilience in this build. Resilience is the best stat in my opinion, so try and get 10 out of 10 Resilience if you can. But that basically sums up the Strand build as well. So Guardians, thank you very much for watching. That is all of the 3 best alternatives to the Starfire protocol next season when the inevitable Starfire nerf comes. It's going to be a very sad day, but don't worry Warlocks, we will get through and we will figure other builds out as well. However Guardians, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below on what your favorite Warlock loadout is and I'll be sure to give it a try. But thank you Guardians and I'll see you later.